Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I wanted to talk today about when your African violets are ready to be repotted, when the babies and leaf propagations that you've done are ready to be repotted, and the size that you need to have them before doing this, because I think a lot of people do repot them when they're a little bit too small, and if you do that, then there's a high chance that they won't survive. So I've got a number here of baby leaf plants that I've propagated, that some that are ready to be replanted, and I'll show you how to do that, and some that aren't ready to be replanted. So I'll show you this one to start off with. And this one, there's the mother leaf there, still going nicely. All the babies are coming out. They've got, this baby here's got 1, 2, 3, 4 well-developed leaves. So often people will say when they've got 4 well-developed leaves that you can repot them. But I've actually found that that is still too tiny. So if you repot it, it gets quite susceptible to fungus, and the leaves are quite close to the soil surface. So it's really tricky. So I think, why make it difficult for yourself when you can make it really, really easy for yourself and wait till it's a little bit bigger before repotting. So there's about, if you can see, there's around maybe 3 or 4 babies coming up there. All of them just way too small. Even these leaves, they're too small to repot. And I think unless you're quite an experienced African violet grower, make it easy for yourself. Wait till they're a bit larger before transplanting them. So that's a relatively large mother leaf that they've come from, but you can get babies from much smaller leaves. So that's one example of when to wait. This one, it's a much larger African violet leaf that they've grown from. And the babies are a bit bigger on this one, as you can see. That one's quite large, that leaf. But at the moment, that plant there only has, as you can see, only has 1 leaf. So even though that's a lot larger, I wouldn't transplant that out just yet. Even though you can, and it would probably survive when it's at that stage. But I would leave it. I would leave it. They're quite happy in there at the moment. There's still more babies coming. So I would never take this leaf off. I don't take the parent leaf off until I transplant the babies out, because that's where I've had the most success. So you can see that they're really happy. The mother leaf is still going strong and happy. All the babies really healthy, very happy in there. So I would just leave it. I would leave it until the pot is crowded and you need to take them out. I find the best thing, the biggest mistake I find people make with African violets is that they hassle them too much. They do much better if you just leave them alone, leave them to their own devices. When you start pulling them apart, repotting them, if you do it before it's absolutely necessary, they don't like it. They're quite happy just to sit. And I wonder, this is just my thinking, I wonder if it's because they grow in mountainous regions in Kenya and in certain little areas in one area, I should say, of Kenya and Tanzania. And I would say that if it's a mountainous region, it doesn't have a lot of topsoil. So it's probably only, they're growing between rocks and little patches of soil. And I think because of that, they love it when they're crowded in a pot and root bound in a pot. And I think it's just genetics, the way that they are. So I don't know if that's not scientific. That's just my thoughts on the idea. So I think if they're happily growing in a pot like this, they're crowded, I would leave them until they absolutely have to be transplanted, and don't hassle them too much, because they really don't like it. So that one I would say is still too small. Don't repot it yet. Okay, this one's an interesting one. They're the babies. This was the mother leaf. So the mother leaf has actually died off. So it was quite a small leaf to start off with. And for whatever reason, may have just got too wet because it didn't have a very long stalk, and it's ended up dying off. But the babies have actually survived. So often I hear people say if you remove the mother leaf, the babies will die. I don't know if that's actually true. I don't know if that's 100% true in every case. Maybe in some cases it is, but I don't know. African violets continually surprise me. Where you think you get told these things that, oh, you know, if you remove the mother leaf, the babies will die. Is that just an old tale that you get told, or is that true? I mean, here is an example showing that the parent leaf has died, but the babies have survived, and they're quite happy in there, and there's quite a few, and there's actually still more coming. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's just not 100% true in every case. Maybe sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't. But these plants continually surprise me. So here's some more babies. That's the parent leaf there. They're the babies. Babies have got quite well-formed leaves, but I personally would still wait before transplanting because they're happy there. So why, if a plant's happy, I have the philosophy, why disrupt it and put it through trauma if it doesn't need to go through trauma? Leave it be happy. So that one I would also wait. That's a slightly smaller parent leaf and got lots of babies from it, so I would leave that. Here's another one here. This one's actually an interesting one because it's got one large plant and then babies that have come. So I would personally leave this just for a little bit longer, but only a little bit longer because this one is getting a bit big and will need transplanting very soon. But because it has got another baby plant next to it, I don't want to disturb that baby plant until it gets a bit bigger. So I would just leave this one maybe just for a couple more weeks, and then I would transplant. Now, this one here is an example of when you transplant your babies that have been leaf propagated. These are about 6 months old. So they've been in that little pot for quite a long time. And you actually can see there are only two, I've only got two from this one, but two well-defined African violet plants there. Really well-defined, easy to propagate, easy to transplant. And when you actually do remove these ones out, you're going to have, unless you make a mistake, 100% success rate that they will survive. They're older, they're strong, they're healthy. So that's the stage I would be transplanting my leaf babies. And that's just what has worked for me. I find that I try to make everything as easy as possible for myself when it comes to taking care of my African violets, because like everyone, I don't have a huge amount of time. I work and this is just something that I love and is a hobby, and wish I had more time to take care of my African violets and spend with them, but it's difficult. So I try to make everything as easy, every job as easy as possible, streamline it as easy as possible. And I just find that transplanting African violets when they're a bit larger, much easier to do, less likely, because they are very easy to break, snap leaves off. I think it's easier when they're larger, that if you do snap a leaf off, the success rate of it surviving is much, much higher. So this will be the stage I would transplant an African violet baby. And I know this isn't right for everyone else. Everyone will tell you something completely different, but for me, this works best for me and my experiments. So this is the way this is how I do it when I transplant my babies, and I've had lots of success with it. And we'll continue doing it that way. And I hope that this video helps. And I know I've read a lot of questions on the African Violet, various African Violet Facebook pages around the world, and a lot of people want to know when it's time to transplant the African Violet babies. And I would say that if you're a beginner, that this is definitely the stage of when to do it, because you're going to have the most success and the least amount of stress involved. So I hope this video helps. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, because it really helps me look after my African Violet babies and hopefully help other people around the world that are having some problems and need some help in caring for theirs. So I hope this video helps, and thank you for watching.